Welcome back to the deep dive. We're looking at a source today with a slightly unusual title. It's called Talking About Jesus.
Yeah, with that D at the end, you see that file name and you don't really know what to expect.
Exactly. But then you get into the actual content, and it's surprisingly heavy.
It really is. It's quite visceral. This isn't just a theological paper. It's more like an emotional map.
A mat.
Yeah, it takes you from this place of just crushing emotional weight to a position of, well, of authority. And that's the real key word here.
That opening definitely sets the tone. I mean, it doesn't just say mistakes were made.
No, it uses words like rebellion, missteps, selfish thoughts. It's designed to feel suffocating, you know?
It really is. It's trying to establish this baseline state of being.
Well, of being bound.
That's the hook.
Yeah.
The author describes it as physical weight pressing down on your soul. It's not just a list of bad things you did. It's the chains, the imagery of chains made of shame and fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not just someone who messed up. You are someone under a burden that you physically cannot move on your own.
And that's a feeling I think a lot of people can recognize, even if they don't use that specific religious language. It's that kind of 3 a.m. feeling of dread.
Right. But the typical solution for that feeling is try harder or fix it.
And this text just takes a hard left turn away from that.
It totally rejects that fix-it idea.
Yeah.
It says the pivot point isn't your own effort at all. This freedom is not by your own merit.
So the whole mechanism is external. You don't lift the weight.
The weight is lifted off you.
Yeah.
It credits the grace of Jesus and the blood of Christ, and the result is this immediate emotional shift.
From the darkness of despair.
All the way to peace and courage. And it's very insistent that this is an eternal transformation, not just a temporary mood boost.
Okay, so that part kind of tracks with a lot of redemption stories. You know, you were in debt, and now the slate is clean. But this is where the text, for me, just went somewhere else entirely. It doesn't stop at debt-free.
No, it goes somewhere much more radical. This is the big insight.
The enthroned part.
Exactly. The text says you are enthroned with Christ.
Enthroned. I mean, that is such a massive leap from just being forgiven.
It's a completely different category. You've gone from being a pardoned criminal to being a member of the royal family.
Seated at the right hand of God.
Right. You become what the text calls co-heirs. You're not just surviving sin and death anymore. You are actively sharing in the victory over them.
But let's get practical, because reigning sounds great as a concept, but when I'm, dealing with a work crisis or just stuck in traffic, feeling enthroned can seem a little distant.
And the source anticipates that. It actually frames this new identity as a practical tool, almost like a tool for mental resilience.
So when you're facing temptation, you don't just, white-knuckle it?
You don't just white-knuckle it. You resist by remembering you are already seated with Christ. You've already won.
So it's a mindset shift. You aren't fighting for victory.
You're fighting from a position of victory. That's the core argument. When you feel that anxiety or sorrow, the text says you should recall that your life is held by the King of Kings. When doubt shows up, you counter it with the fact that you've been crowned.
So it's not about ignoring the problem.
Not at all. It's about addressing the problem from a completely different higher rank.
And it calls this faithful living, which implies this isn't automatic. It's a discipline to walk in that freedom of love. Yeah. You have to keep reminding yourself.
Because our default setting is to go right back to feeling those chains. The text really emphasizes that your heart and mind are now treasures of his kingdom.
If you genuinely believe the battle is already won, you can stop living so defensively. And I think that's the paradox we should probably leave everyone with. The text claims you are already reigning. The victory is already given.
It does. Which leads to, I think, a really provocative thought to chew on.
Which is?
If the battle really is already won, and the outcome is guaranteed, how does that change the way you approach your biggest stressor right now, today?
That definitely changes the stakes. Thanks for digging into this with us.